So I recently saw a post on Instagram that showed a bunch of good things that were being done around the world, and one of them was that Canada had passed a law banning anyone from having elephants or great apes in captivity. Now, considering that both of those types of animals naturally live in Africa and Asia and aren't used to the freezing temperatures in a place like Canada, I thought this was amazing news. But it's not quite true. There is a law that explicitly bans whales and dolphins from being held in captivity, so it can happen. It just hasn't happened with elephants and great apes yet. But this is only because having a law established isn't a quick process. First, a proposal for a new law needs to be made. This is called a bill, or a William if you fancy. Then that bill is introduced to Parliament. They're the people in charge of making new laws. And they scrutinise it until either they accept it or not, and then it becomes a new law or it doesn't. So far, a bill on elephants and great apes was introduced and passed many stages, but it fell when the Canadian Parliament dissolved for the 2025 election. Now a new parliament is formed, bills need to start again, which, good news, has already been addressed for this bill, so hopefully it will start again soon. So what would it mean if the bill was accepted? What would happen to the elephants currently living in Canada and the places that own them? Well, the bill isn't designed to make everyone that has elephants immediately become criminals, nor is it meant to encourage all elephants to be shipped back out to Africa and Asia on the next boats available. Well, for a short while, the places that currently own elephants and great apes will likely be given about 6 months to declare that they have those in captivity. But they probably won't be asked to get rid of them, because this bill isn't designed to stamp out all captivity on day one. It's designed to control it over time. This means there will be exceptions where elephants and great apes could still be kept. But importantly, no exceptions will allow the use of elephants for entertainment. Which, when making laws that protect animals, seems like an obvious thing to include, but the current welfare standards for animals in Canada blur this line a little. For example, the safari park in Ontario, Canada, called African Lion Safari, offered elephant rides to the public as recently as 2019. They only stopped after one of their elephants, Maggie, attacked her handler at the end of a ride, and they received backlash for the practice. Now, I say this not to slander African Lion Safari at all, but I highlight this because for accredited zoos in Canada, animal rides are seen as a positive tool for educating the public. I think it's important to highlight this because our expectations seem to change faster than our actions can. I'm absolutely guilty of this. When I first saw the post that claimed Canada had banned captivity of elephants and great apes, I thought it was incredible, and when I saw that it wasn't true, I was immediately disappointed. However, I'm trying to challenge myself and take time to understand the reality of situations and to accept them. Now, the reality of what I need to accept here is that the bill for elephants and great apes does make some exceptions, like I mentioned before. However, these exceptions are looked at through the lens of conservation. Basically, does helping these animals ultimately help their species? This is a question that honestly does deserve a much longer answer than I'm about to give, but I don't have much more footage of me painting this elephant, so I'll keep it brief. Conservation is about saving wildlife from going extinct, and currently, elephants are. Asian and African elephants are all either endangered or critically endangered, and there are a few options to save them. Frustratingly, the option of just putting all the elephants in captivity back into the wild isn't a great one, largely because they would likely be put into an environment where they would soon die off. An alternative solution to this is breeding programs. The idea is simple: breed elephants in captivity as a way to maintain populations and preserve genetic diversity. Whether this approach genuinely contributes to long-term conservation is at least debated, but it is widely used as a justification for keeping many species in captivity and would be with this bill. So in short, if this bill is passed, it will not mean that Canada has banned having elephants and great apes in captivity. It will mean that they will be banned for use as entertainment, but could still be held for conservation and research. Change is important, and even radical change, but the reality is that most change isn't immediate. Like with this bill, if or when it becomes law, those that currently have these animals in captivity, like I said, won't just immediately be considered criminals. This point or idea, I think, is actually covered really well in Game of Thrones, which, spoilers ahead. So in season 6, Daenerys and Tyrion have different views on how to end slavery in Slaver's Bay. Daenerys wanted to end it overnight and destroy everyone that disagreed, whereas Tyrion suggested a slower route where everyone had 7 years to make the changes away from slavery. I actually think of this when I consider the changes I would like to see for animals in captivity. Ultimately, I think emotionally I sit with Daenerys, and I would like things changed overnight. But I understand that most situations where we want change require a mind like Tyrion. I think it's important to hold a space for both, though. Just because I want change now doesn't mean it can happen, nor that it will last if it does. Inversely, just because I can accept that change is not a decision, but a process, it doesn't take away from the desperate feeling I have that I want things to be different now. From my experience, both work best together. I'm not really sure about the ratios, but the Tyrion approach of making small, consistent efforts makes change last, and the Daenerys-like desire to have things change is what motivates me, at least, to see it through. So no, elephants and great apes will not be banned from being held in captivity fully in Canada right now. However, changes are being made, so it is much less likely they will need to be in the future. And now, hopefully, you know a little bit more about elephants and great apes in Canada.